Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Moto2 Career Mode. Today we are off to Misano first and then followed by Japan. The championship in the last episode got to an all-time closest point of 0 points between me and Raul Fernandez. Can we pull the pin and get a gap going into the final few rounds? Let's find out. So you join me here in a very overcast Misano for Q2. One of my favourite tracks, Misano. But this weekend has been slightly more difficult than I was hoping for. I said in the previous episode that I hoped it would be a track I could win at. But so far I'm not overly confident that I can win here. I felt like my pace should be better. I feel like I'm very good at this track, but it's quite a technical track and I feel I struggle with the technical tracks on the Moto2 bike for some reason. I'm not as precise as I like to be. It's the other way around on the Moto3 bike. If it was a hard braking circuit, I struggled, whereas I feel quite strong on the braking. So next up, Motegi, hopefully I can get a good round there. Now I'm not too fussed where to finish once I'm beating both of the Red Bull KTM IO, so Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez. They're my two men to beat. But we're halfway around. We're scheduled to go 2 tenths under pole position, so we're doing quite well at the moment. Would be ideal to start in pole, would get us out of trouble at the start. It's a very tight first sector, short run to the line, so ideally if we can hold that pole position we'll be doing well. Just coming through with the fast right corners to turn 13 and well wide through there, down into Caro, and I'm a 10th under, so we're still on schedule. We just need to have a good last sector. Just double left into Misano corner we come now. Small moment on the outside curb, and now out of the final corner, out of Misano, up to the line. Can we get pole? Yes we can. So Vietti and Arbolino round out the front row. So here we are, a nice sunny day. We're on pole position. Can we round it out with a race victory? Ideally it would be brilliant for the championship. Raul Fernandez is in the middle of the second row, so our main championship contender is thereabouts. I'm not too sure where Remy Gardner is, but 5 red lights and we are away. He doesn't appear to be in the top 8, Remy Gardner, so that's good for our championship challenge. Come down into turn 1 now, and Vietti flies up me inside. So he's really been aggressive on the opening corner there, being very aggressive trying to take the lead, and Bob Schneider and Arbolino go through, so I've made a poor start. We're still in top 4, we're still ahead of Raul Fernandez. Remy Gardner just appears into the top 8, so he's had a good start. We just need to get the first lap done and try and get into a bit of rhythm. Marco Bezzecchi behind has crashed. I just saw his name pop up. At one point he was the dominant rider in the championship. We get great slipstream around the outside of Bezzecchi, and not Bezzecchi, Ben Schneider and Toby Arbolino, and we get a stop down into Quercia, turn 8. Now Vietti, the VR46 rider's up ahead. He's not really a title threat, so I'm going to try and follow him as we come out of Tremonto. I'm going to follow him for as long as I can, and hopefully he can drag me out of reach of Ben Schneider and Arbolino behind. Fast part of the track there. Ooh, that's a bad place to be touching the green. 160 miles an hour through there. Great piece of track. It's incredibly fun to ride because you can just be so aggressive on entry. But yeah, we need to be careful with the track limits on there because it's the first sector so tight and you could easily touch the green. Oh, Bob Schneider tries up the inside. So Vietti still just ahead of us. We have Bob Schneider again being over aggressive, being seriously aggressive there. But that's not too bad. He's only after pulling a 10th on me. I'm still thereabouts. Remy Gardner is ahead of Raul Fernandez, and we just got passed by 3 people in the space of 1 corner. We get a great exit, and we should be able to blast past Arbolino. Can we get the other KTM rider? Yes we can. So back into P3. Now if we can just pull back the gap to Ben Schneider, it would be ideal. We run it wide there, So we need to square it off, get a good exit onto the back of Schneider hopefully soon, and line him up for a pass. He seems to be able to pull in a bit on Vietti out front, so again, neither of these guys are championship threats. Once I'm coming home ahead of the Red Bull KTM boys, I'm doing my job. That's all that matters really to me. Ideally, if we can get to 25 points for the win, it would be brilliant for the championship. But nonetheless, once I'm beating the other two, look, I'm on the podium, so I need to think the positives, think of the long game. Like I said in the last episode, this is a Joan Mir type of championship. I'm not going to win 10 races and dominate. It's going to be who can be most consistent over the year. And we set the new fastest lap of the race. I think beating my own personal best beforehand. Schneider is right in my sights now, so on lap 6. Maybe into turn 1. Could we get if we get a good exit out of Mazzano, pick the bike up, we get a great exit. Can we go? So we go to the inside. We should have him comfortably into turn 1. 2 laps now remaining after this one. So we managed to get into P2. That puts another bike between us and the riders behind. So Raul Fernandez has dropped out of the top 8, which is very good for me. Now, only because Remy Gardner is setting fastest laps of the race, so maybe he could catch Schneider and get onto the back of us, but we'll see. He's in P4 at the moment, so I'm doing quite well. But I do feel like the race victory is thereabouts. So we'll see. We are on an absolute storming opening sector, up by a second. Closing right up to the back of Cestino Vietti. So Schneider is 0.6 behind, so we are dropping him quite good. So at the moment, looks like we are the fastest man on track, bar none. It's important now. Don't make mistakes, especially with one of our championship rivals. We'll go to the outside. This surely isn't going to work. We can't tip in yet. Oh, we're stuck on the curb. Gonna run it. Yeah, gonna run it massive. I'm gonna lose all the extra time I had on that lap. So this fastest lap has gone out the window. And catching back up to Vietti, so we still managed to maintain good pace, but so carbon copy of the previous lap. This time now I'm going to have to try and get the move done earlier. I go to the outside, this time get it done before I get out in the outside curbs, and brilliant move. So into the lead with a lap, just over a lap to go. And the main question is now, will Vietti be able to push back? We got our third track limits warning and we run it wide. Is he going to fight it up the inside? Don't think he was close enough. He's quarter of a second behind. So it's 1 lap away. Remy Gardner's in P4. Raul Fernandez is nowhere to be seen. Not in the top 8. We need to just set a qualifying lap now and bring this race home for the all-important 25 points. Half a lap remaining. We seem to be just about pulling away from Cestino Vietti. Remy Gardner has snuck his way onto the podium. Not ideal. Could have done with a bigger points gap to Remy Gardner. And he's actually after getting into P2 just as I say that. So we need to be careful there, or Remy Gardner might be stealing the win off us. But his teammate looks like he's had a poor second half of the race because he has disappeared. But we only have 3 corners to go for our 3rd or 4th victory of the season. And all importantly, we'll pull out more points on the 2 behind us in the championship. So 1 corner left. Remy's just there. Into Mazzano corner. I'm going to park it on the apex. Get a good exit out. That surely should do it. We're going to win here in Mazzano. Brilliant result. Get in. So Remy 2nd, Cestino Vietti 3rd, and Raul Fernandez only P11. That brings the championship gap up to 15 points. Raul Fernandez drops back to 22 points behind. So we come out of the last corner to start my qualifying lap in Japan. Surprisingly, it hasn't been a bad weekend so far. The track I'm usually not the best at, not my favourite track to say the least. As Ben Schneider really cuts across my line into turn 1. Thankfully he doesn't get in the way, but he's going to be right behind me now for my lap, so it's going to be slightly off-putting, but what can you do? But as I was saying, not one of my strongest tracks, not one of my favourites, but it might suit me slightly better because I'm pretty good at heavy braking on this Calyx. I'm pretty good at getting it stopped. It was one of my weakest things. I couldn't get the bike stopped, and now it's probably my strongest. I can't really flow the bike anymore. I'm much more of a kind of stop and square it off rider. But it's got me to the top of the championship, so I can't complain. I was quite quick in FP3. Now I reckon the AL will step up their pace for qualifying in the race, so maybe I won't be as strong. I was in second in FP3, but as we are halfway around the lap, I'm a tenth and a half under, so not too bad. But it's just kind of long corners here now. I feel like I'm going to lose time, and especially the last, when you come out of the turn 11 at the end of the back straight to the line, I'm pretty poor in that sector, I feel. So we're coming out of this corner here. We'll have the third sector. Get it stopping nicely in hairpin curve. Now sit up and square it off. Power it out. We're 2 tenths over Stefano Manzi, so an unusual rider at the top. My teammate, I've barely seen any of my teammates, Stefano Manzi or Hector Garza, all season, just because they've been so far off it. I've been the only one on the Pons bike doing anything with it. So we come into the penultimate corner now. Hope we get a good drive up the line. Can we get at least a top 10? That's what I'll be hoping for at least, but we'll see. Up the line, it's going to be 1 minute 52, 53. No, it's going to be Manzi on pole. I'm P11, so just outside the top 10. Not a bad result. So lots and lots of people going hard, including myself. So P7 and P8 are my 2 championship rivals of Remy Gardner, Raul Fernandez. So again, goal is to beat them. Manzi, if he could win, it would be great for the team championship. Not that I'm worried about that. Canet doing well. He's rarely at the front, but he's on the front row today. Can he have a strong result? 5 red lights and we're away. Jake Dixon having a very good second half to the season, kind of taking over Sam Lowe's as a top Brit in the championship. Oh, his contact, I think it was one of the Red Bull bikes. We're back into P11. Augusto Fernandez goes around the outside. He gets good drive out of turn 2. We'll go on the brakes though, like I said. So we make the position back. He tries to hold around the outside, but we should be able to kind of force him out and take his line. Actually just about hangs on, but we managed to squeeze it on exit. Now in slipstream of Dake Shiction, we go to the outside and he cuts across us and gives us a little tap to our front wheel. That runs us wide. Yeah, Aussie didn't see us and could have just moved across on us. Racing incident. But already we're on the back of the 2 boys we need to be ahead of, Raul Fernandez and Remy Gardner, the Spaniard and the Aussie, 2 of the strongest men all season. So once again, like I said, once we beat these, I don't really care about not being at the front. If we're fighting for 1 point and I'm the one that gets the point, it's all towards my championship. I'm not sure who's in P4, but they're not close enough to do anything. So yeah, it's going to be a strong championship fight to the end between us and the 2 Red Bull boys. But you see here we go around the outside of Raul Fernandez and hard on the brakes. So we're going to get Dixon as well, and we actually get Boben Schneider. He gets a terrible entry into the, I think 90 degree corner, I think it's called. But as we come up to the final corner, so Augusto Fernandez is sitting slightly too close for comfort, only 2 tenths away. It's been a bloody dull race really. It's been quite a boring one. I've had no action. I've had Augusto Fernandez attempt to pass me a few times and nothing happened of it. This probably will be a shorter race in the video, just for the fact that it won't be a lot of action. I think the last 4 laps, I don't think there was an overtake. So we're in P6. We qualified P11, so if we bring home a P6, it will be a good result for me. I'm ahead of Raul Fernandez. I'm ahead of Remy Gardner. So I'm doing, like I said, Augusto Fernandez right there, and Raul Fernandez, is right behind him. So we need to stay sharp for the last lap and a bit. We've 3 track limits warning as of right now. We need to make sure we don't get a fourth, because otherwise we'll have to ride within ourselves, and that will catch us late in the race. So as we come into the victory corner, I think it is, into the last corner, get a good exit up to the line. Sam Lowe's with the corner fastest lap up in P3. Raul Fernandez behind us takes the fastest lap, so we have a lap left. Augusto Fernandez and Raul Fernandez not related, but they're both bloody quick and fast approaching my rear. So I'm going to have to make best of this. Actually, as Raul Fernandez is past Augusto Fernandez, it isn't good for me. I'm going to have to hopefully get a good exit here onto his back straight and go defensive. Fortunately for me, they are battling a touch, so they're about 0.6 of a second behind. You can see they're not directly there. There's not a chance of an overtake. Nail the braking down to turn 5. Picking the bike up. Get a small wheelie, and we're actually on a very, very good lap here. We're up by almost 3/10. So we're doing the exact right thing, because we actually are pulling away from Raul Fernandez, the fastest man on track, and we are slightly pulling in Joe Roberts, which is a shame. We're doing it with only half a lap left. We could have scraped a few more points, but I think we have about 4 races. I think we have Thailand, Sepang, Phillip Island, Valencia remaining after this. 4 races, and we'll have at least a 20-point advantage going into them. So very good, very happy to be leading championship stage. It's the point of championship. You want to be defending and not have to chase him, because you can easily make mistakes. It's that nice when you have a bit of a buffer, you can just focus on the riders behind you and beating them, and never mind the rest of the riders. But as we come into the final sector, we have a couple of corners remaining. Raul Fernandez wasn't close enough to get anywhere near for an overtake. Joe Roberts is just out of my reach. Into the last corner, we actually get a 4 track limit warning, so careful out of the last corner. We've done it. He's actually made up a lot of time in that last corner. I'm going to put a bit of a wheelie, cross the line, and that's a great result. So P6, and actually Aaron Canet wins it after me saying at the start he looks like he could have a good result. So great for us. Let's see the championship table. 20 points between us and Remy Gardner, and 23 to Raul Fernandez. So big step in the right way for this episode. So I'm going to leave this here for today. In the next episode we'll have Thailand up first, and then followed by, I think, Sepang. Could be wrong, it's either Phillip Island or Sepang. But we'll round out the penultimate episode. It will be the next one, and then we'll have the final. I hope to have all the episodes, or the Moto2 career mode, finished before the release of F1 21 on Friday coming. So the 16th to 13th to 16th of July. Anyway, it's Friday coming. If you're watching it now, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe down below. Comment if you have any suggestions for the MotoGP career mode. If you want to get in on designing of the bike, if you have any questions about the game or F1, I have a few series planned for F1. I'll announce more in my kind of first impression review video, but I am looking forward to it. I do enjoy the F1 games, and it looks like it's taking a big step forward this year. So all going well, we'll have footage out of Friday afternoon. But anyway, ended here. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one.